The Jews have been targeted by many people with prejudice and hate. This unfair treatment, called antisemitism, has been around for a long time, and it's not right. In this video, we'll talk about where hatred towards Jewish people started, how it was changed over time, and ways to tackle and fight against this widespread problem. So, where did the word antisemitism come into existence? The term antisemitism came into existence in 1879 when a man named Wilhelm Marr in Germany used it to describe the growing dislike towards Jewish people in Central Europe at that time. This marked the beginning of a long history of discrimination against Jews. But how does antisemitism distinguish itself from other forms of hate? You see, antisemitism is recognized as one of the most ancient hatreds, with its roots tracing back to Christian religious teachings that have endured for centuries. Jewish antisemitism began long ago when Jews settled outside their homeland. In ancient times, cultural differences caused tensions between Jews and others, especially in the Greco-Roman world. Here's where the trouble began. Jews believed in one God, while others around them had many gods they worshipped. On top of that, Jews refused to see emperors as divine figures, which made some folks pretty upset and led to them being treated differently. Things got even more complicated after Jesus was crucified by Pontius Pilate, the governor of Judea, during the years 26 to 36 CE. This event triggered a chain of blame directed towards the Jewish community, resulting in some pretty unfair stereotypes and biases against them. As Christianity started gaining popularity in the early years, it began to pose a challenge to Judaism. Christians believed that their scriptures, known as the New Testament, replaced the older Jewish scriptures, the Old Testament. They also thought of themselves as the new chosen people, replacing the Jews. This shift in thinking fueled tensions between the two groups. Important figures in the Christian community played a part in spreading negative ideas about Jews, painting them as enemies of Jesus. These teachings further fueled the fire of hatred and discrimination against Jewish people. As time went on, the Christian Church imposed laws that segregated and limited the freedom of Jews, pushing them to the fringes of society. In the early 1900s, some people in Europe started to tell lies about Jewish individuals, claiming they were secretly controlling everything. One big lie was a fake document called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which wrongly said that Jewish people were pulling the strings behind the scenes. These false stories led to harmful conspiracy theories and unfair treatment of Jewish people. One of the darkest times of antisemitism was during the Holocaust, a period when Adolf Hitler and his Nazi followers believed that certain groups, like Aryans, were superior to others. They placed Jewish people at the very bottom of their made-up hierarchy, treating them with cruelty. This hateful belief system resulted in the tragic loss of about 6 million Jewish lives, showing how deep-seated prejudices can turn into horrific acts of violence. Now, to understand why Hitler and the Nazis targeted Jewish people, we have to look back at the troubled times in which they lived. Hitler grew up in Austria and spent time in Vienna, a city with many Jewish residents. During World War I, Germany suffered a defeat, and some blamed Jewish individuals and communists for the loss. Hitler, influenced by these ideas, came to believe that Jews had betrayed the country. In the 1920s and 1930s, Germany faced economic hardships, and Hitler and his followers used this instability to spread a dangerous message. They told people that getting rid of Jewish folks would solve all of Germany's problems. This harmful rhetoric struck a chord with many who were struggling, leading to Hitler's rise to power in 1932. Once Hitler took control, life became much worse for Jewish people. The Nazis passed harsh laws that targeted and discriminated against them. This discrimination escalated into a horrific plan known as the Final Solution, which aimed to exterminate Jewish people across Europe. The Holocaust saw unimaginable cruelty and the tragic loss of millions of innocent lives due to unfounded hatred and prejudice. According to the Institute for Jewish Policy Research, over 70% of British Jews have relatives residing in Israel, and 90% have made at least one visit to the country. Despite this connection, recent data from the Metropolitan Police shows a disturbing 15-fold surge in anti-Semitic incidents in the past 3 weeks compared to the previous year. This alarming increase in hate-driven acts has become a concerning issue for many individuals within the community. Since the attack by Hamas on Israel and Israel's actions in Gaza started, there have been more anti-Semitic incidents happening worldwide. In the U.S., Jews have typically been seen as white according to the law. Unlike other groups like African Americans or Asians who faced specific citizenship restrictions, Jewish immigrants were not singled out for such exclusions. However, they didn't immediately fit in with the leading white society either. Their status in the white community was somewhat unclear and not entirely accepted. In a recent survey by the American Jewish Committee, almost two-thirds of American Jews feel less safe in the U.S. than they did a year ago. This feeling has increased by 22% from the previous year's survey. The survey took place just as Israel's conflict with Gaza began in October. Now, why do some people dislike Jews? Well, the reasons are varied and can be based on misconceptions or stereotypes. Some may think that all Jews are either communists or capitalists, see them as outsiders, or think they act superior because of their unique traditions. Others may associate Jews with funding either left-leaning causes like George Soros or right-leaning figures like Sheldon Adelson. These biases against Jews are often not just about their Jewish identity alone. One key point to remember is that Jews are not the same as colonialists. Many Jews have roots in Israel, their ancestral land, rather than coming in as colonial powers. Unlike traditional colonizers, Israel has made efforts to negotiate and share land with Palestinians. However, these offers have not always been accepted. For some people, hating Jews aligns with their anti-Israel stance, causing them to support groups like Hamas. This support may lead to endorsing terrorism and violence against Jews or Israel, citing self-defense as justification. Such individuals may view hating Jews as a religious duty, echoing sentiments of extremist movements through chants like Allahu Akbar. Ultimately, these prejudices create a cycle of hatred, with some individuals even viewing the hatred of Jews as a way to fulfill their religious practices. They may join rallies and demonstrations against Jews and Israel, siding with terrorist groups like Hamas that promote violence, discrimination, and extremist ideologies. Now, let's look at the other side of the page, where Jewish people have been successful. Studies show that people of Jewish background have won many Nobel Prizes, even though they make up a small part of the world's population. For example, Jews have won about 22% of all Nobel Prizes. In terms of awards like the Pulitzer Prize, which has been around since 1918, Jewish individuals have done well, winning 53% of the nonfiction awards and 14% of the fiction awards. Surveys also indicate that most Jewish adults are content with their family life, health, and community. Regarding finances, Jewish Americans tend to be well off, with many reporting annual household incomes over $100,000. Many feel financially secure, handling expenses comfortably or making ends meet. Notably, many Jewish billionaires, like Larry Ellison, Larry Page, and Sergey Brin, are mainly from the tech industry. So, why do some Jewish people say they face discrimination when many of them are doing well? Well, the thing is, discrimination against Jewish people is often linked to how others see them as being assertive or privileged. Even if some Jewish individuals are successful, it can make them stand out as different and not entirely accepted by everyone. Jews are sensitive to comments about their wealth and status because they have faced discrimination in the past, like limits on how many could attend schools not too long ago. It's crucial to understand that hatred towards any group of people, including Jews, is not justified. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their background or beliefs. Well, has there been efforts to combat Jewish anti-Semitism? Has anyone come up and apologized to the Jews? About 800 years ago, the Church of England made laws that were unfair to Jewish people. These laws led to Jews being kicked out of England for a long time. Recently, the Church apologized for these laws at a special event in Oxford. The old laws stopped Jews and Christians from being friends, made Jews pay extra money, and made them wear special badges. Jews were also not allowed to do specific jobs or build new places of worship. Eventually, all 3,000 Jews living in England were forced to leave in 1290. In recent times, the Church has been trying to improve things with Jewish people. They wrote a document in 2019 called God's Unfailing Word to show how important it is to have a good relationship between Christians and Jews. Moreover, the Jewish community received an apology from the rapper who used to be Kanye West, now known as Ye, for saying mean things about them. In a post on Instagram written in Hebrew, he apologized for any hurt his words or actions may have caused. Ye apologized for any upset or harm caused by what he said, explaining he didn't mean to hurt anyone and felt terrible about it. This apology came after he made some not nice comments about Jewish people while talking about his album Vultures in Las Vegas. Another celebrity, Jamie Foxx, an Oscar-winning actor, sent an apology. Jamie Foxx cleared up a situation about his social media post that some people didn't like because they thought it was mean to Jewish people. In a post on Instagram, the actor apologized to the Jewish community and anyone upset by his post. He admitted that his words might have hurt people and said he didn't mean to do that. Additionally, in April this year, the Metropolitan Police said sorry for a situation where an officer wrongly mentioned that a leader of an anti-Semitism charity looked very Jewish when he was about to be arrested close to a pro-Palestine march. Furthermore, several nations have extended apologies to the Jewish community. The most recent one was by the Netherlands in 2020. The Netherlands officially apologized for the persecution of Jews during wartime. The Dutch Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, apologized on behalf of the government for not doing enough to protect Jews from the terrible things that happened during Nazi Germany's time. Many countries are taking steps to fight anti-Semitism, including the United States. In 2023, the U.S. government, led by the White House, established its first ever plan, the National Strategy to Counter Antisemitism. This plan shows how serious the U.S. is about stopping anti-Semitic actions. Furthermore, during the Community Security Trust's annual dinner on the 28th of February this year, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak promised to give over 70 million euros to the organization for the next 4 years. This money will help make Jewish places like schools and synagogues safer by improving security measures. These actions are just a tiny part of the ongoing fight against anti-Semitism. Many groups worldwide are working hard to ensure Jewish communities feel safe and included in society. They want to stop prejudice and make sure that Jewish people are protected and respected everywhere. Together, these efforts aim to create a world where anti-Semitism is eliminated and Jewish communities can flourish without being afraid of discrimination or harm. By joining forces, these groups show unity in tackling Jewish communities' challenges, promoting acceptance, respect, and diversity for everyone. Like, share, subscribe, and watch the next video.